TJ kind of said about the block punt. You guys saw something during the week. Could you kind of take us through what happened there?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, myself, Tyler Brown, and Joe Panunzio, this is what we do. We spend time looking at protections. Like, hey, if we see something here, we've got the personnel to say, hey, let's get this look. And the great thing about it was we ran our specific stunt one time, and they came directly off the sideline, like, hey, we could get them with our check. So luckily we had the opportunity to get another punt rush, and in my mind, just having the conversation, I'm like, all right, here we go. This could be one. So having the conversation with Sean and TJ, I'm like, hey, let's do our rush, but go to the check. They went to the check. They ran it perfectly, and at first I thought TJ overran it because he got so clean, and it hit him like in the bicep. But luckily, I think we paid a little bit of our dues, and we finally got one, and it helped swing the momentum for the game, and it helped us win, which is all we want to do, being that special teams unit.
What's Sean's role in that play? Is he supposed to just get a little bit of the long snapper? I know you can't jack up the long snapper, but just get a little bit of them, and then occupy the personal protector?
Yeah, you always want to create a numbers advantage, just like you want to do on offense or defense. You want to create somebody having to take two. He's got to take someone. We actually learned a lesson earlier in the season against Atlanta. We kind of had one where Sean kind of went down the middle, and he was able to take two. So we made a little adjustment, and he was able to do it. And TJ cut it so tight, he couldn't do anything about it. But it was a great job. It was a great job by TJ and Sean, and we had worked on it a few times. And, like I tell these guys all the time, ain't nobody coming to watch the game besides maybe my parents. They come to see them play. So they hit it perfectly, and it changed the game.
You had Reagor doing punt and kick returns. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, Quez had a little bit of an issue in terms with his body early last week, so we kind of, held him back a little bit, get him back ready for offense, and obviously we saw what happened. He got behind the defense, helped out the offense, and Jalen took the rep. So it's one of just those things, being comfortable and everything. And Jalen and Quez have been outstanding, communicating with me what they see, how they feel. And there may be some opportunities where we like to be a little bit smarter in the kickoff return game. But it's also one of those things where you get guys like that want to be aggressive. It's a double-edged sword. Like, obviously we saw against Kansas City, Jalen gets the 44-yarder. Then, the first kickoff return, he's feeling juiced up, gets it to the 22, not going to hurt you too bad. Probably the second one that he did return, and he knew it. We had our conversation before the half, and he knew it, but I'd rather have a guy that's super aggressive than having to, amp somebody up. But we also got to be a smarter team to help the team in that way. And, as a special teams coach, we put our offense in a bad situation, especially what transpired after with the high snap and everything. So it felt like special teams had a big part in that. So it's just, once again, understanding it's a big team game with our return game. So having Jalen and Quez back there is a blessing, because there's two really skilled athletes back there that can change the game.
What is that line? When do you want them to go out, and when do you want them to not?
Yeah.
What do they? What do you want them to see, and what needs to be there for them to
There's
take
a lot of factors that go into it. If a guy's running sideways, he doesn't have the downhill momentum to get it going right away. He may have to take a step back, and it's just all the learning. There's going to be learning curves with it. Jalen hasn't kickoff returned a lot recently until the last few weeks, but just him understanding, like, hey, I'm running a little bit sideways. I could probably take this down, and I'll fight to live another day right there. So there's just a whole bunch of different variables that does happen with our kickoff return game.
Sipos 16-yard punt there, but he had some pressure. What kind of went on with that?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a breakdown of protection. It had nothing to do with Aaron. Aaron's been doing a heck of a job, and our punt pro's been doing a very good job with it. It's just one of those times where, when you see a lighter box, you think, all right, I got to go cover. But we still got to, remain disciplined, and, we can't cover unless that ball is punted. So it's one of those things, and, as soon as the sideline came off, I didn't have to go to the guys. The guys came to me, they're like, hey, that's on me. Obviously, it's not great in the game situation, but for me as a coach, the guys understanding and taking accountability, that's just going to make my job easier. And to be honest with you, our first half wasn't our greatest performance, but I think the best part about one of the prouder moments as a coach so far is how they bounced back those last 30 minutes, and they really helped the team swing the momentum to get us that win in a road environment, which is great.
On the punt block, which one of them told you that the check would be able to work?
They both came out. They talked about it, then they came to me and shoot, it's a players' league, baby. Go and get you one. And luckily they did, and it worked out for us.
How often do those conversations happen on the sideline when a player sees something?
I always ask the guys, hey, I can only see so much from the sideline. Tyler can only see so much from the box. Joe P can only see so much from the sideline as well. They're the ones playing it. So if they feel something like, hey, I could get this guy, let me know so I'm not, shocked or anything that they went, rogue or something like that. But if they talk to me, hey, whatever's going to help us win the game, I'm all for. And, these guys have been outstanding in terms of understanding what we're trying to do, accomplish on our return games, our coverage games. So the more communication, I think, the better for us, and just the more trust we have to, hey, go out and play, go make a play.
Jake, at the end of the first half, what's the conversation like with Nick in terms of telling him where you think he'll be good from?
It all starts in pregame with his pregame warm-up. We felt like the wind, was a little bit stronger that way to help him. So having that conversation with Nick, like, hey, he could probably hit it from this range right here, and they got enough yards that we felt comfortable with it. And we all know Jake has a very strong leg. He obviously holds 2 of the 3 longest field goals here in Philadelphia history. But in my eyes, that field goal really was a huge play in terms of swinging the momentum, at least from a special team standpoint. You go in and you 15-3 is way different than 15-6. So him to hit that 58-yarder and kind of change the momentum gave us a little bit of a boost, especially in the special teams room where it just kind of snowballed from that opening kickoff in the third quarter. They had to start at the 16 because we were playing fast, caused a penalty. Then right back at it, talking about the aggressiveness with our returners. Jalen gets one short kick and he hits it for 22 yards to help swing the momentum. I think was great, and I think Jake really kind of started this whole momentum swing for us special teams wise.